Let's make your wedding intentional as f***. You are listening to The Bridal Breakdown.
Hey everybody, welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of The Bridal Breakdown. We hope you guys enjoyed that brand new intro. We're trying to bring a new vibe to the season, trying to give it, I can't remember, how did you phrase it, Ashley? We were bringing not a facelift, that's not the word that you used. You might have even said the next evolution, the next phase of the podcast.
Oh yeah, this was like a week ago. I do not remember, but it is. It's it's an evolution. We had the podcast. If you didn't catch last week's episode, Chris and I just kind of give you guys a life update. It was really good. You should go listen. But we have noticed since creating the podcast a year ago that it's changed from what we originally thought it would be, which I love it. It's it has a life of its own, and it's growing and changing, and by us going into a new season with a new, fresh vibe and energy.
Yeah.
Plus, our vibe and energy is different.
It's different. It is different. And if you want to know what's different about that, definitely go back and listen to Season 2, Episode 1, so last week's episode, and you will hear just kind of the things that have been changing in Ashley and I's life. And I think that because of those changes that happen during the off season and everything leading up to the off season, we have some new energy and new excitement and just a drive.
We're happy.
We happy.
We happy.
We Gucci.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we wanted to create an intro that reflected that shift and that change in the podcast. So anyways, hope you guys enjoy it. Ashley, for those who missed last week's episode, let's just do a real quick overview of the tweaks and changes that are being made to the format and some new features that are added to the podcast.
Yes. Super, super pumped, you guys. These changes, I talked to Chris. Chris was very not sure about this change. So if you agree with him, please let us know in some way. But we are moving into a, internet culture society of more smaller feed content. We like these reels. We like these TikToks. We like these 15-second pieces of content. And an hour and a half didn't really make sense for the podcast anymore. And an hour and a half was also really exhausting for us to edit. We'd end the day and I'm like, I need to go to bed.
Yeah. Which I think kind of led to it being less enjoyable sometimes.
I agree.
It's we enjoyed the process, but then it's you get exhausted. You're just left with nothing else.
Yeah. So we're shifting into more bite-sized episodes, and these aren't going to be no 15-second episodes or anything. But our goal is to have them be between 20 and 30 minutes or so, and kind of try to just cover one topic at a time. And I think that's going to be more enjoyable of a listen for you. It's going to be really enjoyable for Chris and I. Who knows? Maybe we can get back to bi-weekly episodes. And if you missed bi-weekly episodes, we now have a Patreon where you can help support the show, help us, literally support just the foundation of the show by going to our Patreon link in our description and signing up. And on that, you will get bonus episodes every single week. There's already at least 3 in there.
Oh yeah.
On the Patreon.
We got some. And they're good, man. I'll say they got some juice to them. Yeah. Especially, we just recorded one that has to do, I'll give you a little, can I give them a little tease?
Yeah, go for it.
There's one that's in there about men photographers in the wedding industry and how I just realized wow, there are some women who are uncomfortable with that. So Ashley and I have a really honest conversation about that. And anyways, things like that, drama, some tea, but it's helpful tea with picking your photographer and things that other people are saying about issues that they maybe didn't care for with their wedding photos. Not necessarily from us, but people vent to us. And so we're trying to make it all helpful, but also making it a little casual, a little more relaxed. We can chase those rabbits on that feed. Yeah. And we'll be sharing a little more of our personal life. So that is one of the perks of joining Patreon, supporting the show. How much? Well, we'll drop into that afterwards. But there's one more.
I don't have this stuff memorized yet.
There's one more perk that we're going to be doing every single month, the last Sunday of the month. And what is that?
We are going to have a monthly Zoom hangout where we all get together, talk about our weddings, talk about things going on in the industry. We all can help each other with some struggles that we're going through. If you're currently trying to figure out how to make your guest list smaller and you can't figure out how to talk to your parent about the people they want to invite, or if you can't figure out what to do about wedding party members and the struggles that you might be having with them, we all can get together. We all have the same goals. Like we're on a similar path of trying to have a more intentional wedding and create community, maybe make some friends, some people who get you and understand you. You can talk wedding because maybe your friends and family do not want to talk about it anymore.
Or they're too stressful to talk about them with because they don't get it and they don't understand it and they want everything done traditionally. And you're a free thinker and you want to do some things differently.
Yeah.
We just want to create a community. So that's where that's going to happen. The first one's going to be February 27th. So you can go ahead and mark your calendar. And if you join our Patreon to support the show, you can hang out with us on that first Zoom call hangout, which is February 27th. We're nailing down a time now. That's not necessarily, but it'll be in the evening, maybe after dinner time, that kind of thing. But we'll get all that information to you. Information and how to join the Patreon, that link is in the show notes.
Yep.
But today, Ashley, you mentioned talking about problems with the wedding party. And that's what we want to talk about today. The idea of should you have a wedding party or should you not have a wedding party?
Coming from two people. One of us who've had a wedding party and the other who didn't.
And one who didn't, which is I had a wedding party. Larry and I both had a wedding party. You and Justin did not.
Correct.
And can I share with the audience just like where this kind of came from?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been having some conversations with some of my brides and people who are planning their weddings. I'm not necessarily a photographer, but they're sharing their experiences. And it really seems like people are running into a lot more conflict, tension.
Conflict, that's a great word.
Not fun times with the people who are supposed to be the closest to them. And so even some people, I didn't tell you this, Ashley, but there's the phrase, I wish I wasn't having a wedding party, has gotten dropped. And so kind of a theme that you and I run with is like, hey, what are people close to us talking about? Because if one person's thinking it, other people are most likely thinking it.
Absolutely.
And so we just wanted to have this conversation and let you know, TLDR, that if you are considering not having a wedding party, we want to try to empower you in that. If that's a thought that maybe you've had, or maybe you haven't even thought about, is it okay to not do this? So we're going to
spoiler alert, it is.
Spoiler alert, it totally is.
It totally is.
But we're going to dive into this topic. Again, we're shooting for the 20-minute mark. You know, we're probably been going 5 or 6 minutes now, but about 20 minutes when it comes to the meat of the content. So let's dive into this meatiness of a wedding party. And let's start with why. I want to ask this question to you. Why do most people choose to have a wedding party? Why do you think?
Because it's what you do.
Really? You think it's that simple? It's what you do?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that there's much thought beyond that. Like, you're getting married, and so you're going to have your bridesmaids. And, I don't know if guys necessarily think that so much. If they're like, I got to pick they're like dreaming of that. But I know as girls, like high school, little bit post high school, we'd have the discussion of like, whenever I get married someday, you're totally going to be my maid of honor. Or like, whenever I get married someday, I can't wait for us to go on this bachelorette party and you guys to stand by my side. Like, those are conversations I had, and I didn't have a wedding party. And part of me felt like I was kind of like letting down that.
Like those people.
Obligations that like unmet. And I will tell you that is the truth, because one of my diehard best friends that I've had forever, I was probably like 14 or 15 when we started being friends. And like, she's just a diehard for me. One of those people that you can like pick up. Like, we don't speak all year, and then we pick up, and it's like super great. Well, at one point, apparently, I don't remember, but I remembered then, she had said that I was going to be her maid of honor, and then she was going to be my maid of honor. Well, come time for her to get married, like, we maybe like weren't super close at the time.
Right.
Actually, no, that's true, because we had like a falling out. And,
Which
as
happens.
people do. Yeah, we were probably 19-ish. No. I don't know. We might have been like late teens, early 20s when she decided to get married. And then she was getting married. I think she was 21 and I was 22. And around like 19-ish, we had a falling out. And then we kind of started hanging out again. Then she started talking about getting married. And I wasn't going to be the maid of honor. And I remember making a big deal out of it, because I was like, you're going to be my maid of honor and I'm going to be your maid of honor. Like, we've always talked about that. And so I share that because I think this might be part of it, is like, it's just the way you do it. It's just what you do. It's what you expect to do. It's what your friends expect of you. Because when I said I was having no wedding party, they were like, what? I was
Yeah.
like, yeah. I was like, I don't want to do it. And I have this excuse that like I'm in the wedding industry and I see all the drama and I just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And they ended up being supportive, and like they didn't even get to go to my wedding. So it ended up being like
So it's
way
a double
different.
middle finger.
Oh my God.
But
they
then
were
in
like,
some
can we
ways,
just
a
come
little
and
different.
peek in the windows, please? And I was like, no, because where do I draw the line? You can't come look in the windows.
Right.
I'll send you the video. I love you so much. Anyways, so that's why I think
people just do it. They're like, this is
it's what you do.
Just as pivotal as deciding where you are going to have
Yes.
your wedding.
Who's
It's
going to
like-
stand up with me?
Yes, exactly. Okay. So that makes sense, and I do agree with that. What were
You
you
go
gonna say?
ahead. Yep. Nope.
The other thought and maybe this is more of like why people choose who they choose, but I think most people, when you talk about wedding party and what they're most excited with, it's like, these are the people that I'm going to party with and celebrate all day.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing. They get to be like around you and be your hype crew.
Your hype crew, yes.
Yeah.
And in a perfect world, when egos are set aside and selfishness does not rise up in people, that's what happens.
I agree.
People support you and they party with you and they literally do whatever you need them to do, whether that's setting up chairs, tearing down chairs, running to the store to get
Selfless.
boob tape, because like they're going to do whatever they have to do. That's the best case scenario. And when that happens, that is beautiful and great and honestly pretty stress-free.
Oh, it really is great. It's
Yeah.
It is pretty rare. I don't want there to be a negative tone to this, but so like that exists. Like
It does
yes,
happen sometimes.
it's going to it can happen. I think it happens a lot when like everybody's always been friends, so there's like zero awkwardness or zero like bride feels like she needs to be host because she needs to make sure these people are friends.
These connections are happening and
Which
stuff like that.
bachelorette parties and stuff like that help to like form relationships. But I just want to say you can have a bachelorette party without having a wedding party. And you can also get ready with your girlfriends without them. I've done a wedding like that where all their people ended up getting ready and they kind of wore coordinating outfits. Like she was like, just wear like bright colors. That was what she said to like her closest friends. And she ended up getting like a photo with all of her closest friends and she got ready with her closest friends, but she didn't do like the formal wedding party thing. Yeah. And that was really cool.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't the stress associated with it.
And do you remember, so we've done an episode that was like around Halloween in 2021. We did an episode about like wedding horror stories.
Yeah.
And I think we shared like 10 or 12 snippets, like really short ones, like some wedding horror stories. And the common theme out of like 90% of them was alcohol. Like there was some form of intoxication or alcohol that happened. And listen, I'm drinking a lot less now, but I do like to drink and I do like to have a good time. Sometimes people change when they drink. Sometimes selfishness becomes a lot more prevalent. Sometimes people are no longer focused on, being considerate of you and your wishes and what you desire. And so that's normally not an issue at the reception, although sometimes it is. It's when it happens early in the day. People start drinking early in the day, and then things go to poo-poo real quick.
Yeah, there were a couple
so
horror stories. I haven't seen very much of like alcohol-fueled wedding party drama.
Yeah.
On the wedding day, I feel like the any negatives, and this is just from obviously my personal experience, any negatives that I hear about wedding parties is generally everything leading up to the wedding party or the wedding, and like the stress associated with like organizing all the people and getting everybody to agree, and then like being like,
so much
guys, I want hair and makeup to happen, and then there's a bridesmaid that's like, I don't want to do my hair and makeup, and then you're the bride and you're like, this is my day, can you just do it? And like they don't.
With the dresses, it's like, it's let alone like it's twisting their arm to like or kind of like the dress that you pick, like 4 out of the 6 people like it, the other 2 very
or getting them all to
hate
agree
it.
on the same dress because none of their bodies are the same.
Yep. If that's what you want. A lot of people are moving away from that to where they go like, hey, you can,
which makes it easier.
These coordinating colors, But even then, it's a whole other hassle to go to your dress feeding, get them to go to their dress feeding by X date, and then to have them pick it up, and that's a whole thing. Like one of my brides told me, I won't get into that. That's chasing too many rabbits. But I've heard that that's a pain in the ass to try to get the whole dress thing
Oh, it's a
with
huge
a
pain in the
group
ass.
of women has been a lot of stress for many brides
And the
and
people
the groomsmen
involved.
too. Even like getting the groom and the groomsmen, like I think it's equally as hard to get the groomsmen to go get fitted for their tuxes.
Get them to go.
Yeah, to let alone pick it up. So those are like struggles, and those things really weigh heavy on couples because they're like,
during the planning.
we're asking them to do this, they're not doing it, and then it starts to set this negative association with these people, and then you start to wonder like, what else are they going to fuck up on the wedding day? You know, and so again, not saying this to scare anyone. We're just sharing some things that we've seen. And if you have been on the fence about a wedding party, we want to share like a better way, or maybe not a better way, but an alternative way of not going that route with the wedding party.
So I have been in a lot of weddings. I've been a bridesmaid a lot of times. And maybe it's just also with getting older. Like I'm not as close with most of the weddings that I've been in, and that's simply because we were young, and like I still like adore them, but
you just grow apart, you know, your lives start going in different directions.
Yeah, and I feel bad now because I am in all their pictures, and like they have so many friends that are closer to me, and I did a family session the other day, and I was like, do you like? She didn't have any wedding photos around, which is totally fine. She's like got kids now, and that's more important. But I was like, now looking back, like it's been a few years. Would you do anything different with your wedding? And she was like, no, I wouldn't do anything different. And she was like, I do just wish that my wedding party was completely different. She was like, all of my friends now are so like I have none of the same friends that I had then. And it's just part of growing up. So it's just interesting. And I just wonder what what the wedding industry would look like if we didn't have so many, like, I don't know, I guess if it was just more of an accepted option to have your friends be a part of the day in different ways. And I feel like people could get creative in that way. Like, how else can you incorporate like your close friends? Like, maybe you do like a cocktail hour with like, you know, you invite 50 people who are like your super close, like young friends, you know, it's not like family. And you have all of these people show up.
I love that.
A little bit before the ceremony, before guests start showing up, so you can mingle with all these people and like maybe play games with all these people that you're super close with and they're not in your wedding party, but you get intentional private time kind of with them.
Yep.
And then your guests start arriving and they're also there to like mingle with everybody as guests. Or I don't know. That literally just came out of my head, but
you can also thinking of like the day before and the day after, so not quite reception, because I feel like rehearsal dinner is like a thing that a lot of people do, but you could grab brunch the day before or the day after with the people that would have been in your wedding party, as just a time to share a moment with them before or after this huge significant change.
It's in a way to make them feel special.
One of my 2022 brides told me that you know, she's having less people be in hers. I think she's just doing siblings only. That's what they're both doing. But the friends that they would have had, they're asking them, both men and women, to wear blue and be their something blue. Like that
oh my God.
And then they're going to snag a photo with them at the wedding. And so that's something that I've heard about that I think is like, oh, that's genius. It's like, it's siblings. While you may not always like your siblings, you're most likely going to always love them. And they're most likely going to be in your life for a long time.
Yes.
They will always hold a special place in your heart, which I love that.
So when I chose not to have a wedding party, and Justin too, but a big reason is like, I felt this way back in like MySpace days when we had like top 8. I don't want to rank my friends.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. That is also a terrible conversation. I was always the bridesmaid that's like, put me in the back because I don't care.
You're right.
Like, I don't want to cause additional stress. And if it's just easier to put me behind these other people because they'll be dramatic about it, please just put me behind them. It does not matter to me at all.
Or imagine if you like put like an old friend that you've had for a long time, but you're not as close with anymore. But now you have like this new friend from work that you're besties with, and you put them before your friend of 10 years. Now that girl's like, she's there on your big day, but there's a little undertone every time they go to line up. It's like, why aren't I up higher? Which it's these little things that create like resentment.
Yeah.
And maybe that's like the thing that we're trying to dodge with, or like a pro is like, it really lessens the potential for some resentment to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And planning stress. Like, what is just something you can take off your plate? And not even just from your perspective as like a planning couple, but I saw recently like a viral TikTok or reel or something. And it was like, when you're signing up to be a bridesmaid or a groomsman, like you are signing up. Like you are
Dude.
reporting for duty. You
Yes.
are there for cleanup. You are there for teardown.
Come
you
on.
are dropping $1,000
Hell
on the
yeah.
bachelorette party. Let's go $200 on that dress. Oh, you got to drop $75 for makeup, $85 for hair. It's like a whole thing. And so releasing, while it's fun, how can you still do all the fun without putting that pressure potentially on your friends?
Yeah.
Like, I literally, when I had my last wedding that I was in, it was like for my sister. I was like, thank the Lord I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I do not want to stand in another, like, it's just, they're so expensive and it is all day.
Yeah.
No, the TikTok,
It's
I just
all,
remembered.
It's all day and the day before and the, it's like a whole thing. And then
It's a quadruple shift.
yeah.
Like,
Dude,
you are
no
showing up.
joke.
That was what I saw on the reel. That just came to me. It's a wedding day. It's a double shift. You show up at 6 a.m. for makeup, and then it's time for the ceremony. Shift 1 ends. It's time for shift 2. We're going to do the ceremony and then go into the reception, and you got to be on the dance floor till 2 a.m. or whatever,
Dude, it's a bear. It's a whole thing. And so I have one more idea, unless you have another after this, that I want to toss out that I think could be a creative idea. So let's say you're getting married at 5 p.m. and dinner's at 6:30, or your ceremony is over at 5 p.m., but you're not doing your grand entrance until 6:30, and let's say there's a cocktail hour in there, but you've carved out this intentional time. Instead of spending 45 minutes taking photos with your wedding party, what if you and I don't know, because I know there's minimums with stuff like this, but I'm trying to meld an idea that I've seen other people do, to where I've seen people basically not have a wedding party or just have a best man and a best woman, but then invite all of their maid of honor, not best woman.
I mean, I kind of liked it. I was like, I like that. Best woman. That's right. I am the best.
All of their friends to join them on a party bus, and then they just drove around for an hour.
Yeah.
Because all of the photos happened beforehand, and so they had basically a party before the party on the party bus, and they drove around.
Like everyone in blue.
Right. Everyone's in blue. We're blued out. But that was a way for people to feel like I'm special. Like I'm getting to spend VIP time with these two people. And it was a vibe.
And I'm not having to rank them. That was my biggest thing.
And you're not having, and they can bring their significant others.
It's a party.
It is a party. It is literally a party within your party, to where now logistically there's times and stuff with food and everything to work out. But like that is an option of a way to get to spend time with the people that you care about. Oh my gosh. And guess what? You're not standing around waiting for photos. You're partying.
Yeah.
Like you're having a good time.
Yeah. And I mean, you can get a group photo with everybody and potentially request individuals with each of these people, which I love that. Like you can mold something like this your way. And like, I keep going with this everyone in blue. We're just going to say everyone in blue is your special people. They may not be in blue. You may not do that, but yeah, everyone in blue. So everyone who's in blue, maybe instead of a party bus, your place, like your venue, you know how everybody gets served dinner after you do your entrance? Everyone in blue is in like I don't know if that would work, but part of my was like maybe everyone in blue, like there's like a separate room. I've done a wedding where family was served dinner. I
remember you telling me this.
In a completely separate room. So the immediate family ate in this like conference room. It wasn't like the prettiest. It was just the conference room. But the bride and groom sat and enjoyed their dinner without the music, without all the people, just intentionally with their family. And so part of me is kind of wondering if that could be spun, because everybody's just busy going through the buffet. And then like there's just this room of like your really close people. I don't know if that actually could work from like a
logistical
jealousy
time
family
frame.
You can do that, but anyways, that just maybe these will like spark some ideas.
And
but
going with the color coordinating thing, like let's say you had and this is very common to where people have like we'll do fight songs because there's like 30 or 40 friends from the same
Yeah,
college that are
yeah,
there,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they'll like do that, on their reception. You could, like, let's say that was a significant season of your life. You've graduated college, you're in your career, you guys are getting married, and most of your friends now are from college, and the closest people that you would have with you, you could ask them to wear your college colors. So let's say that like a main one was like maroon or something like that, or the guys wear maroon, you ask the women to wear gold, and then they make, that whole thing, like, and that's just a way to intentionally include people, because I think the biggest thing is that people feel like I'm important enough to play some sort of role
I play
in
a
your
role.
big day.
Yeah.
And so we've looked for so long as the most important people are the people that stand up there with you. But you can these are examples that we've shared, are other ways to give people significance and importance on the day of.
I love that idea. Because also, like, this may not resonate. Like, I have to have a wedding party for whatever reason. You may sit there, but you may also be hearing this and thinking like, oh my gosh, this is how I could include those people that I couldn't include in the 5 bridesmaids that I was able to have because my fiance only has 5 on their side or whatever that is. Which also, screw that, by the way. Give yourself permission to not match. You don't
tell you
freaking have to match.
Here's another thing, just a little note with that. It is better to have uneven numbers than include someone in your wedding party that you have to, because you're trying to think of like, well, shit, I'm not close to anyone else. And you're like, well, Carol, I guess I kind of like Carol. Like, she gave me like her hot sauce that one time at lunch. Like, we've had some decent talks. Like, sure, Carol, come on.
Come on, Carol.
Like...
You made the cut.
Like, not a millennial name at all.
No, I like it. Tina and Carol.
It's like, oh, those two are best friends. You know it.
Oh, yeah.
That's an example of like, you don't want to do that, guys. I'm telling you, Lara had to do that, and I both did that. I don't know why we ended up doing that. One of us had to do it. I can't remember who. And we really regret having that person in the wedding party. So
that's the thing to consider is how is having, like, I would even like write these down potentially. How is having a wedding party going to enhance my wedding day?
Yes.
And then think about those enhancements. Like, what is it that these people are going to do to improve my day? And ask yourself, is there a way that they can still enhance my day that way without having to put on, like, without them needing to be in a wedding party and have to do all the coordination as the bride or groom? But regardless, I would write down, how is having a wedding party going to enhance my day? And then, I had another thought. Ask yourself how it's going to, and what would it look like if I didn't? Like, would I still have those same, I don't know, would my day still be awesome? Or like, what are the cons of having them? I'm like, well, what potential, there we go. That's what I wanted. I had to work there. What are the potential hiccups or speed bumps that I'm going to hit along the road of having the wedding party? And then ask yourself, what weighs a little bit more? Like, is it those enhancements, or I know it's going to look good in photos, or I'm going to be avoiding conflict by just asking them to be in my wedding party? That weighs more than the potential speed bump of it's going to be expensive. I don't know what your speed bumps are. Or is the speed bumps of all the potential conflict that having a wedding party is going to have in your life, is that less than the conflict of just telling everybody, hey, we're not going to do wedding party, but we're going to do this instead?
Right. This is really customizable more than anything else.
That was hard
we just
to
want
explain.
You did a good job.
Thanks.
No, I get it. I got what you were saying. We just want you to know there's freedom. Like, there's freedom in whatever decision that you want to make. You can break away from tradition, and that is okay. And so that's what the big thing in this episode. You look like you want to say something.
It's all about intentionality. Be
Intentionality.
intentional with that decision of having a wedding party, and think about, why is it that I want to have them? Is it just for the photos? Is it just because everybody else has them? Or is there another deeper why? And maybe if you land on a deeper why, it might make you happier than the couples that we've experienced. You know, maybe.
And the
like, I've never worked through that either.
Yeah.
Like, what is the why? What do they serve? And then, like, let them know that that's like, hey guys, you're going to help the dance floor. I think I need you to do that.
Yeah. But the choice is in your hand. It's in your hands, you and your fiance's hands, and it's you guys need to do what you want to do. And so if you never knew that this wasn't an option, now you know. We know a lot of you have gotten engaged and have shared the podcast out with other people who are now engaged and are maybe a month into engagements because the new year just hit and they're thinking about their wedding party. So feel free to share this and throw this out there to anyone that you know that is in that process, and hopefully it's helpful. I want to go through a new way that you can reach out to us. So it's always been available to send us a text message, not a text message. Ashley's like, what the heck? It's always been available to shoot us a message on Instagram or to join the Bridal Breakdown Facebook community and to leave a comment there. But now we have an email address that you can email us at. Would you share what that is, Ashley?
You're going to email hey at thebridalbreakdown.com. Super easy. But you can email us stories, questions, advice, thoughts, anything
that you want to share with us. So if you want to ask us a question, you don't want to do it over social media, you don't want to do it on the Facebook group, that's fine. Shoot us an email. Link to the Patreon that we mentioned at the beginning of the episode is in the show notes, and there's episodes there that are ready to go. Oh, we also forgot a perk to tell people about, is that they will have access to episodes earlier than other people.
Yeah. Early.
That is another little
When
perk.
we finish and Chris finishes editing, they're going up on Patreon right away.
They're going up, yeah.
You don't got to wait till Friday.
That's all we got for you, friends. We hope you have an amazing week, and be sure to be intentional AF as you are planning your wedding.
Love it. See you guys next week.